It's Kenneth Bird. My company is BlackSeriesEdition.com. The new company we have coming out is going to be under the Exotic Collection, which soon I'll be on that build the process of starting the platform of building on that site. We got a busy day today. Today is paperwork day, and processing orders. Sorry about that. I'm tired. So I got orders to process and ship out today. Those who place orders, you'll be receiving tracking numbers today, and your orders will be shipping out today. Get you guys taken care of. And I'm going through tax documents, which I need for this company. If this company is going to land, eventually grow to be a corporation, there is a ton of paperwork. Once you step off into the brick and mortar world, it is paperwork city. So today, we're filling out forms for, and it should be pretty easy because I've done these before for the other companies. If you haven't done these, you should do these. That's why I said don't take your product as a hobby. Make sure you get your taxes done. All right, so let me see. We're filling out forms. This is pretty easy because, like I said, I've done these already before. Every time I have a company, I go through this. I have to go through these forms every single time. Also, too, it's good to have a tax ID license. ID, or don't get an EIN, because you get an EIN, they're gonna make you they're gonna say you have employees, and if you're not reporting employees, you can get into a lot of trouble. They will contact you, bring you down to an office, and interrogate you. I literally had an incident happen on a company that I had, where basically I didn't have any employees. Basically, it was a business tax. I was using the wholesale license to buy things for the company. So the company wasn't really making any money at the time. We were just using the license to buy merchandise that we needed for the company. But because there were no reports coming, all the reports were coming in at zero because we weren't really making any money off of it. We're just using the tax ID license to buy things so we can use them. They had basically brought me in for questioning, and I had to explain to them, like, look, we're not making anything, we're not selling anything. We just need the wholesale license to be to buy merchandise. That's what we're doing. And we weren't selling the merchandise, we're just keeping the merchandise. But this one, I actually need the tax ID license because it basically, the wholesale tax ID license it gives me a little bit more of a break for buying things that we need, especially the everyday stuff that I have to buy. I can get wholesale from different distributors due to the fact that I had the identification ID number. On top of that, with that, there's perks that comes with having and paying your taxes. There is tax write-offs, which I tell a lot of people make this mistake. It's things I can get from my company. Once I do decide to I'm going to solo proprietorship. That's what I'm doing right now. So once I go into a corporation, then I will be able to go in and get other certain perks. I think it's an S corporation. I think that's what it is. S corporation is one of them. But anyway, I can get certain perks and stuff like that. This is where we can get our company cards and all that stuff like that, and certain benefits because we have these paperwork and lined up. So submitting for the EIN number, which I'm doing over here on this computer. As we're doing over there, we're submitting for a EIN. You make sure when you're submitting for that you make sure that you put down that you don't have employees at the moment, because again, this can get you in a lot of trouble. You have to make sure, come on, phone act right. I do not want to shrinky dink. I just want to shrinky dink. I remember the toys called shrinky dinks back in the day. Let me see if we can get it. There we go. We got to bring it up and then bring it back down. But yeah, so this is some of the stuff we have to. I thought it was a 10. They must have changed it because I could have swore it was a 1090. It's a 1099. That's what it is. So that's what it is. So on top of that, I have to go to the bank today. I have to open up a business bank account because, again, I'm paying my taxes yearly. So all the money I make from my taxes or what I make from my orders, I put those into a separate banking account. So when tax time comes up, boom, I have the money. What I usually do is, just in case so there's no hiccups or no problems or coming up short on paying the taxes, usually, because you have to go in, it's really easy to do to add up exactly. And this is helps people out. They're going to be starting their own business. If you're doing your sales tax, you have to charge whatever percentage of what your state charges. So some can be 6, some can be 10, some can be 5. Delaware doesn't have a sales tax at all, period. But anyway, and then what you have to do is you have to multiply that by what you're selling. So the easiest way to do this, because this is where some people find this confusing, the easiest way to do it is say your sales tax is something like 8%. 8% your sales tax, which is really freaking high. It's 8%. So what you have to do, and you're selling the item for $100. So you have to, I think you multiply that by 100 times 6%, it's 100 times 6, 100 times times 8, 100 times 10, and that's what you multiply that, and it will give you the number of what you pay in taxes to Uncle Sam out of each item. Now, for our items, run from 595, 392, and 246, and I just have to multiply how much of that from, let's say we multiply by how much percentage we pay the state charges for tax on how much percentage times, and it gives you the roundabout number that you need. But always put in an extra. Always put, like, if it's like $65, I put in, no, if it's $60, I put in 65. If it's 65, I put in 70. I always put an extra 5 in there just in case. Be surprised, they will charge you taxes on your taxes. So yeah, just make sure. So that way I have more than enough in the business banking account to set this up. I need to go and get this done today too. I got to go into a bank and get this done. My ID's updated and everything. I think we got everything for our IDs and stuff. All right, we'll set up a banking account today. I'm gonna get that done today. The banking account, get that finished. Now, because I have 3 companies now, I have to have a you have to have a PayPal account for all 3. It must be a PayPal account for all 3 accounts. This is also very important because, again, you have to show exactly where the money's coming from. So you have to have a solid foundation of where the money's coming from. I have multiple PayPal accounts set up. Multiple accounts. I got to do me another one for this one right here. We're doing that today. So that's where we're going to be popping over to the bank, or I'm going to pop to the bank and set me up a business banking account so I can basically do that number verification thing. Yeah, I'm going to do number verification. All right, cool. So we're getting all this done. So now when we leave this platform with all the tons of paperwork, when we're finishing out and processing orders for our customers and building their site at the same time, we'll be able to go to our other place, which I can't wait to go to. But here I can basically get a lot of work done while I'm here. And it's been a blessing to get all this paperwork done. And being with somebody in the family who has experience in this field, because you better make sure the person has experience. You do not want to get audited or have to pay money back or anything like that. So we're going to be doing Pay By Lock today. So my list for the day is, what's this for? Oh, that's the marketplace passwords. We don't need that. For the day, I have to drop off orders at the post office for my customers. And again, thank you so much. We appreciate the support. Pretty soon we're going to have companies we're going to be dealing with. That's another reason why I need to have all this paperwork. Because we're going to be doing more than just customers, more than companies. All right, so it's not a 1090. I thought it was a 1090. It's a 1099 now. 1090. Let me see. I need a piece of pen. Don't have any pens up here. How do I not have any pens up here? 1090. 1090. Let me see. I don't have any pens. Where are all my pens? Brush, dress, some hot tea. I'm gonna rush out the door. I'm gonna pop over to Rite Aid and pick up something too. All right, 1099. 1099 tax forms, and we're now setting up the EIN, or tax ID license, which we need that. That comes in handy on top of that, especially if we're going to apply for business loans and stuff like that. That does come in handy. Tax ID number. So that's what I'm doing right now. The tax ID number used to be free. It was very free. Now it's like 200. I got to pay 200, and I'm paying 279. Might as well just get it rushed in 1 hour, so at least we can have it there to start setting up for other accounts. But they used to be free. They're not free anymore. So now actually I can go there and I can start setting up for an S corporate license next. So once we get this foundation started, get it up and going, get some money going to the account. We have money in the account anyway. We got to report all our earnings. I was making money in November the 2nd. That's when this company first started making money. So all I had to do is go in, add up how much money I owe them, take it out of my accounts, go in and transfer it to my banking account, which I'm setting up today, that will have all the money saved for paying my taxes. And at the end of the year, fill out my forms, which I have here, which is these are the 1099s, and report my earnings to Uncle Sam. And this will give me my purse for my write-offs, which means I can write off anything that has to do with business. I can write off. Do you know, if I'm running a web-based business, a lot of people don't realize this, if you're running a web-based business from your home, anything you use in your home for your business becomes a tax write-off. Your lights, gas, electricity, even if you have a dog, and it has to be a guard dog at that. It can't be fluffy, licking people in the corner. No, if you have an official guard dog that protects your property when you leave, guess what becomes a tax write-off? His dog food, shots, all that stuff becomes write-off. But before you go down that road, I would talk to somebody first in the financial business or an accountant to make sure those are going to be legit, and they will count those, or you want to be investigated by Uncle Sam. But anyway, all that's a tax write-off. Gas, as long as it's being used to pick up supplies, you have to make sure that, yes. But some people, where they mess up, they go on expensive business trips. So it's a business expense, and it's not a business expense. It's you just out there having some fun, and you're just chalking it up as a business expense so you can get that money back. You get in trouble for that. Don't do that. That's dishonest. God does not like that. But anything else? Yeah, business expense. If you're using something for business expense, I'm using right now my cell phone, and buy another cell phone, because my cell phone I also make calls to other people, but I'm getting a cell phone strictly for business only, which is going to be encrypted. A friend of mine is going to be taking care of that one for me. And anyway, so those calls on that phone, I can show all my different calls. Bam, 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 bam. These are all company calls, nothing personal. I get a write-off on all of that. So come tax return, woohoo, I get a big check. Not only that, basically loans, I can get massive loans. My company makes consider a good amount of money right from the start. So most people, when they start with the business, it trickles. We're blessed. Our company makes a good amount of money in the first start. Like I said, we made 10 grand from, I think it was 2 or 3 days. We ranked about $10,000 easily. So I can show numbers on my PayPal, kind of showing what my account's hitting and how much money it's making that fast. They'll give us a loan just like that. The guys said they'll give us a loan for whatever we need if we have the proper paperwork. Tax ID numbers you're going to need. You're definitely going to need all that. Showing that your business is legitimately paying money to Uncle Sam. So I'm already set up already. Got how much I made, and I got how much money I calculated per each item that I sold. Took that money out of the account to pay Uncle Sam to get that set up. So now when the end of the year comes, we get their money and we're good. We have a track record showing money transferring from banking accounts. We have a track record showing we're paying money to Uncle Sam. We have a track record that our company is running efficiently and legit, which means that if I want a $500,000 or a $2 million loan, I can achieve it because, again, my company shows it generates money. On top of that, they will go through your sites too on top of that. Oh, they'll definitely research your stuff. Oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I do such and such. And so, really? You have any websites or any place I can go to? Oh, right here. They'll go through your sites. So make your site sure your sites are legit and look professional and you know what you're talking about on camera, because they will ask you questions. If you're terrified of me asking you questions at the end of the day on an open mic, what do you think is going to happen if you have to walk in front of a room full of investors at the end of the day? They're going to ask you questions, and they're not going to cut corners. They're going to ask you right to the point, including people at the bank if you're trying to get a loan. What does your product do? So we can do that easily. I can paint the screen right there in a freaking bank if I wanted to. So next stage after this, we're just about done with our safety material data sheets for our products. They're done. Patent pendings are just about done. Copyrights are just about done. Business cards will be here in the mail pretty soon. That'll be done. Gentlemen, do you have tax forms? Ooh, you don't want to hear that, do you? Do you? I'm pretty sure. Hope you were reporting your stuff. If not, you're in trouble. And judging by some of y'all, the way y'all did your websites, I don't think y'all know how to do the proper paperwork to file for these applications to run a legit company. The reason why I know all this stuff, because I was running a company way before I got into screen paints. I'm a computer programmer. All those giant monster PCs you see on my side, I built all those machines. I had a company where I was making money modifying and designing customized gaming PCs. And that's how I learned about all this tax craziness right here. Because the guy was telling me, look, if you're making this money, you got to report all this because you can get in a lot of trouble. And that's how I learned how to do all the forms and to go here and to fill this out. At the time, like I said, the EI numbers were free. They used to be free. Now they're charging you money for it. They used to be free. You can go right down to the IRS, get a form, or I had somebody on the phone. The first time I did it, I didn't know what I was doing, and the person who did it for me was very nice. She did the entire application for me on the phone and filled it out, and I got this thing that came in the mail, and it had my company's name, and it had this tax ID number, and I can go into different wholesale wholesale companies that require these certain numbers, and I could type it in there, and I could get all kinds of cool stuff, and I was like, wow. Get all my computer parts for really cheap, and I was saving a lot of money on top of that. But I was also making the money too because I kept more money to myself because I can get a wholesale instead of going someplace else and buying it where it was costing me money. So it comes in handy. So if I need to buy supplies for my company, I've got the information to go in and get it. So that's why I said that there's two parts in business. It's more than just putting together some screen paints. You have to know the business side of it too. And if you can't do the business side of it too, then you just basically have what we call in business a stack of cards. That's what you have. See this file right here? These are all my documents in this folder right here. Tons of documents on everything you could possibly think of that I had to dig up for this company. Now, once we get this part section done, we're working on the other section, which is the safety material data sheets, which are extremely important because if you are running a warehouse where you are processing any form of chemical, they don't care. They want to know what's in it, what are the hazards for the ecosystem, for residentials that may be living near the facility, what happens if workers spill this stuff at the end of the day, if you're transporting this stuff to another country and it's in customs and one of the containers happen to open up and it spills out, how do they deal with the cleanup? All that information has to be on that document right there. If you have trash dumpsters, which you will, because you will not be putting this in regular trash bags and sticking on the side of the curb, you will have an official dumpster sitting right outside your building. You're going to have to basically put in there what they are dumping. It's inside of that freaking container, that huge, massive container. All that has to be put in there. So that's why I'm glad that the stuff that I use is all water-based, because of my lung disease, I can't work around chemicals because they will harm me. So it's water-based. But that's not enough for them. You can't sit there and go, oh, I have lung disease. Here's a document right here from a doctor. They don't care about that. No, I want to see on documents what is in your stuff and is it dangerous? We need to see this. So you need to have those forms. Now, locally, you still have to do the taxes. I'm sorry. You have to do the taxes. You have to do those locally. You have to get this done. But it's pretty easy to do. It's not hard to do. Very easy to do. I think eBay does it for you. But if you're doing your own website, this you have to do yourself. So it's very easy to do. Just go over to Uncle Sam. You get yourself a 1099 or whatever it is. But it is a 1099 for us over here. Get your 1099 right there. And then you see exactly what is the sales tax in your state. What items are you selling on your website? You have to basically multiply that, like I said, in basic, simple way to explain it. If you're selling a product that's $100, you multiply that 100 times 6%, or 100 times 8%, or 100 times 10%, whatever the sales tax is going to be in your neck of the woods, and it gives you exactly how much you have to pay per item. Now, for our customers that sit there and say, well, gee, Ken, we didn't have to pay, you weren't paying any taxes because I was paying them. You know that. I pay your taxes. Not those taxes. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, when you buy from us, I pay your taxes. That's why there's no tax charge, because I pay for that. I take that of my own cut, put that aside in the bank, and at the end of the year, I pay that. That's why you don't pay any taxes to our company, or you're not charged any sales tax, because we pay for that. Yes, the nice things that Mr. Bird does for you, you get your free shipping, pays for the sales tax, so you don't have to pay for jack. Because I figure already, if you're investing money into my business, well, I'm going to charge you a sales tax for it. I hate paying sales tax at the end of the day. I'm sitting there like, well, I'm taking the time to invest in your computers and buy your printers and buy everything else. You can't give me like a free sales tax? Like, well, what sales tax can charge up and charge them? Some are just a little overboard. And you add it up, go on a computer and add up the product that you bought and add up the percentage of what you should be paying in sales tax. And if it comes up higher, something's wrong. I do that all the time. When I go in the stores and buy stuff, I'll actually add up the sales tax. I'm like, wait a minute, how the heck am I paying that much in taxes? Where is this coming from? Yeah, that's what a lot of people are telling me to do that. Some places would charge you like $60, $70 in sales tax. I'm like, what the freak was that all about? And you go add it up and find it's not even anywhere near that. They're probably just fluffing it a little bit so that way you can pay for some extra stuff that probably has nothing to do with your TV at the end of the day, or whatever you just paid for. And that's how businesses get in trouble, and going in and cooking your books and basically fluffing the what do you call it, the prices a little bit, just fluff them a little bit. Now mine's the opposite. When I pay the sales tax, I put in, like, say if I have to pay $65, right, sales tax for that particular item, which you won't be paying for, I will pay for that. Instead of putting 65, I put 70 in. Always put extra in, just in case if anything pops up. Because I don't like complications when it comes to this kind of stuff at the end of the day. So I always put a little extra in. So I have more than what I'm supposed to pay back to Uncle Sam. So that way, anything pops up and he says, well, you owe so-and-so. Here you go, right there. I got to knock stuff out. I'm going to go through that crap. I've been through that one before. Like I said, I've been through that before because I got the tax ID license when I first started off, was just to buy things for wholesale. Because I think it all started from a friend of mine. I had an electronics shop. This is way back. I mean, how far back was it? It was back when Laserdisc was around. So that tells you how far back it was. When I think it was Laserdisc, and we had the 5-disc player for CD players. No, it was the 5-disc CD player because that's what I wanted to buy. I wanted a 5-disc CD player. And in the store, they wanted something like $500-$600 for it. A lot of money. And I was asking him, he's a good friend of mine, we're at an electronics shop. He didn't have to give me the information. I was like, so how do you get this stuff for real cheap like this? How are you buying this stuff for real cheap? He said, you got to get a business tax ID license. And he explained to me what it was. And he showed me the catalog where he orders his stuff from. And I saw the same player in there for like $200. I'm like, I was like, okay. Because really, you're not as long as you're not selling the item. I wasn't making any money off of it, so I wasn't cheating the Uncle Sam in any way whatsoever. I just was using the wholesale license to buy stuff for me. That's it. Wasn't giving it to, if I gave it to somebody, then I gave it to them, but I couldn't exchange. You can't make money off of that because, again, now you have to report what you just made, so you can't do that. So you can't sell anything that you're getting out of the catalog. You have to give it away for free. That's how it's done. But the minute you exchange money, you have to report what you just made. That's where you get in trouble at. But anyway, that's what I used it for. I used it to get the CD player for $200, and that's what I purchased. So when they give you these forms, you have to fill out exactly how much money you're making off each item, and that's the money you send in that you're reporting to them. All my forms were going back with zeros all over them because, again, I was just buying stuff for myself. So that's when they contacted me and said, hey, we need to talk to you. We need to come down to the IRS building, and we need to question you about a few things. So I went down there, sat down in the office, and we had a bunch of people sitting here, and I was sitting right there. And they said, so you're not making any money at all? This is your company's name, so-and-so and so. And I told them the truth. I said, I got the tax ID license so I can purchase things wholesale for a lot cheaper, and I don't sell anything. I don't make any money. This is just for me only. What can you do? Can't basically throw me in jail for basically buying something that I'm not going to get wholesale. I wasn't making any money. Didn't take anything from you. Didn't gain anything from it. I just bought stuff for myself. And they said, okay. I think I went down there to apply for another license too, because your license after a while they expire. So the guy was like, all right, Mr. Bird, that's all we need from you. Have a good day. I said, okay, can I ask you, I need a question. Where do I go to apply for another tax with mine expired? Oh, right upstairs on the second floor. That's it. But if I did take any of those items out of that catalog and said, hey, Frank, hey, what's up, man? Yo, I can get these items for far cheaper because I got this license. How about you give me $140 and I'll give you this for such and such and so. And you keep the money. Can't do that. You got to report that. So that's very important. So with that being said, yeah, that's why I went down there for that particular reason. Other than that, you got to report all your earnings and everything. I've done it with all my companies due to the fact that that's how I first started. That's how I learned about it. I have knowledge of it. Some people don't have any knowledge of it. They get overwhelmed with all the paperwork and everything you have to do, and they don't want to do it. You're going to have to do it. It's a lot of documents, but it has to be done. And it's very easy to do. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. And you pay taxes anyway. You should know how to do it. All right. Well, that's basically about it on my end. I have to be out and about because I have to set up a business banking account today. I got a new PayPal account today. I have to fill out these forms here and report my earnings. And then after that, as I said, I mentioned already before that the Crystal Ridge site is down. Not that it's down. There are areas you can't get to. Everything's been locked out because, again, we're changing that over to something completely different. Let's see, all paint and all products we get right now, all sales right now have been made through our Black Series site. These are our orders for today. I have to get these ready right now. Oh, these containers are gonna be different. Right now, I'm looking at metal black containers. They do make them. I had to go look them up because I couldn't find any place that had them. And I had to go to Uline. Uline makes them. They're not cheap either, but that's what we need. Right there. Now, I know we get these messages from the naysayers. These are people who don't like us in the day. They can't stand my company. Do you hear the way I talk and how I speak when I talk about certain things? This is why I said at the end of the day, you guys don't know business. You don't know anything about this world right here. The paperwork, safety data sheets, taxes, all that stuff. Because again, for you, y'all gonna chalk it up as a hobby. This is not a hobby for me. This is actually my company. This is my life. I take it extremely seriously. That's why we put the, what do you call it? Match or Better demonstrations out. You guys couldn't even begin to even think about doing this. Now, I'm actually got 3 more I'm going to put out today, too, on top of that Match or Better. Now, for those of you who ever seen the Match or Better pop up, simple and plain, a few people ask me, what are those things? Match or Better is basically us challenging everybody, even certified. It's not just 2 people. It's everybody. Goose Green, Knox, I don't care who you are at the end of the day. Match or Better, that demonstration. It's to prove that we are the #1. That's what it comes down to. You have to do exactly the same thing we're doing in the video, which means same size screen. If I'm out there with 300, you're going to be out there with 300. If I'm out there with 250, you're going to be out there with 250. See all the light we use in the environment has to match the same thing. If you can't match it, then that means you're not on our level. And if you're not on our level, that makes us the best. That's what it comes down to. Nobody sits there and starts a company and says, I want to be second best. No, they want to be #1. And that's what we are. We're #1. We have the most demonstrations outside, the most demonstrations in ambient rejection technology. As a matter of fact, I start posting the grids up on the other site. That site's all about advertising about our technology. So, again, that's what the matching betters are, because we have a lot of people out there, not only 2, that talk too much trash at the end of the day and don't back up jack at all for nothing, at all, period. And that's what the betters are. The tester betters. You have to be the matchers demonstrations. If you consider us to be as equal to us or better than us, you should have no problem completing those tasks. Now, for us, we didn't start off making them challenges. They never were. Those are test demonstrations that we had to put the products through. Yeah. So this is where I'll be at today, post office. Dropping these off for the customers. Thank you so much for the orders. I got to report those too. Those are $362 each. And I had to report how much am I paying back on each one of those. Let's see, we paid back about $24 each for each one of those. That's what I paid back. $24 in taxes I paid back for each one of them. So that's what I paid for at $362 each, or $63 each for each one. Only Uncle Sam makes good money. He makes really good money. I want to be Uncle Sam at the end of the day. That's not bad. It could be worse. It could be worse than that. But yeah, that's what we pay. But at least we get that money back and some kind of tax return. So that'd be nice. And on top of that, I go to the bank. The bank is telling me I'm eligible for loans. So that'd be good to get a couple $1 million or $500,000 or 5,000, 600,000, 800,000. That'd be fantastic. Make things a little bit more smoother for us. So this is my first one. That's actually for what we're doing right now. The second company under the third under the exotics has to go through the same process all over again. but separate, it'll be completely different. Each one of these we do, we have to have a different. I don't want everything. Some people lump everything under this. Don't do that. No, and you will give yourself nightmares. Have an entity for each one. Keep it clean. Keep it neat. All right, I can't wait. Let's say let me get all this stuff done, get my orders taken care of for the customers. Again, thank you for the support. Really appreciate for the company. See what else we got going real quick. Anything else we ever done today? The business cards and finished all that. We got brochures. Still got to go to another company and look at hoodies because I don't want any cheap hoodie. I'm wearing this hoodie at the end of the day. I don't want a cheap flimsy hoodie. I want a heavyweight. I want a good heavy hoodie. That's what I want to print our logos on. So we've got a list of our merch. I definitely want, because we're going to do gift boxes and all that stuff for companies. We're sending them over samples. I need professional boxes, as I said before, that's going to fit our containers. Are going to fit in nicely. Have a nice thank you card in there, a couple of ink pens, keychain for the company's logos on it, something professional. That's what I want. So that's what we're building up for. And this is the reason why we need the copyrights done, so we can basically start printing all the information out on the boxes, because everything has to be have the copyright protection attached to it. So we have to get that done. And also, till I'm getting a couple of custom fitted hats done. I do want my own t-shirts. The hoodies are a little expensive, but I got a couple people I know at the end of the day make clothes. They work for the church and they make clothes and stuff. And I forgot they become employees too. So that means after we get the merch in, I have to go back in and I have to change out my EIN number too, that I have employees, because they'll be under payroll, which means I had to report that too. All right, so we'll get done, because I have to bring some people on board to help us with this. And we do, as in the merch, I've seen people when they do their own merch, they will have the name of whoever made the shirt. We don't want that. I want my own name on there. If it says Black Series Edition, I want the back of that shirt tag to say Black Series Edition with a logo on it, showing it's our product, we make it. That's what I want. So instead of going to a distributor and having to make the products, I want where people can make that product for us. Cuts down the middleman. You have to pay all this money at the end of the day. It becomes expensive. That's another good thing too on top of that. So that's how you do it. If you're going to do it the right way, that's how you do it. It cuts down on cost. Because then again, if something happens, something fluctuates, they can jump their prices and you're at the mercy of paying for their shirts. If you're people who make your product for you, then you don't have to pay for that. You just go to the store, buy what you need in bulk, and they can make it from there. That's it. And there are plenty of people coming out of fashion school and all that stuff like that that are looking to get a job in that field. You can hire somebody like that. That way, that'll give a chance to get them some experience. They can work for a company and they can make those items for you. Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, I got much to do, because after we finish just laying the foundation for this platform, the next platform is going to be warehouse, workspace, office space, stuff like that, employees, equipment we're going to need in order to run the company, as in vehicles and all that stuff. So we got to start somewhere. All right, with that being said, I got to go. Got much work to do. And I'm going to do I'm going to do the 250-inch match or better and 180-inch to the ceiling match or better. Now, as I said before, you see these match or betters pop up. Basically, it's just us challenging everyone to do the exact same demonstration, which means if I'm doing a 180-inch to a ceiling, I don't want to see a demonstration saying, oh, I did the same thing. And they're doing a demonstration of 4x4 cut out cardboard screen tucked away in the corner. It's just, no, it's not the same thing. Match my exact demonstration. That's all. All right. Well, got to get back to work. Thank you all and God bless. And those of you who purchase your products, you're getting your tracking numbers right after the video's off. All right. Got to go and thank you. I gotta start doing that voice.